Hello, it's Michelle from CNC Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Zealand, and I'm bringing you another Global Monthly Video Hop. So once a month, myself and demonstrators from around the world get together and make videos based on a specific theme. And in the description below, you will see links to all the other demonstrators' videos, so please go and click on their videos after you watch mine to go get more inspiration. And this month's theme is anything but a card. So if you hop to these videos, you should not see any card making this time around. So this one I love because I do like 3D projects and making things with my Stampin' Up! Products that are not card-based. The other thing is in the description, I will put the names and the product numbers of everything that's Stampin' Up! In this video. So if you want to purchase anything, you can talk to your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you're in New Zealand and don't already have a demonstrator, please go to my site, michellekritchley.stampinup.net, and you can order directly from me or find my contact details there. If you live in another country, you can go to stampinup.com and look up to find a demonstrator near you. Now, some of these products that you see right now, these are not Stampin' Up! Products. There are other things that I've acquired to make what I'm going to show you, which is a Post-it note holder. So this is using some retired paper, but it's got a little mini pen and opens up, and you've got your little Post-it notes, or I should say sticky notes, because I didn't use the official branded ones. And so it's a great size for going in your pocket. So you have little paper and pen to write your notes down on. I know a lot of people do it on their phones, but some of us are still old-fashioned, like to do it that way. And so these are just some that I used, some old scrap that I had to make a few of them. And I sell them at craft markets. So I make them in larger quantities to sell at craft markets. So I'm going to show you basically how to make these. And I've already done some of the stamping, but I will decorate some up for you. And hopefully, if you like that, you will make some of your own for gifts. Or if you do craft markets, it's a really good project to have to sell. This is one of my best sellers. So I'll move that out of the way at the moment. So first of all, you need what I call Post-it notes, but basically sticky notes. So this one I got from Kmart here in New Zealand. I've also got them in the past at some of the dollar stores. I find that the Post-it note brand ones are very expensive, and then that doesn't really make it a good price point for selling at my markets. It makes it too expensive, so I get them like in bulk. So this has got 12 different packs in different colors. I think this was either $7 or $9 at Kmart here in New Zealand. I'm not sure. In the past, I've even bought big chunk ones that were all just one color, and then I broke off sections and just used sections of that for my Post-it note holders. The other thing, though, is if you buy them from those like dollar shops, we have some around here in New Zealand. They used to be called $2 store, but that brand I think is gone. So if you go to those places, be aware they usually sell them just in one block, but check, because sometimes they don't say sticky notes. Some of them are imported from countries that English is not the main language, so you can't always read what it says. But a tip for you is if you look at the side, you can kind of see how it waves a bit. So it kind of is bigger on one end and then the other end. Hopefully you can see that. So this end kind of bends up. That indicates that there's sticky there. If you don't see that and it doesn't actually say sticky note, you might be buying a block of just individual sheets, which can be make a big problem if you're trying to make these notebooks. But you can use those in other things. So got your sticky notes. So I just bought this the other day from Kmart. The other thing that I used to be able to get lots of, and now I'm actually having difficulty finding, where you are, it might be easier to find, are the little pens. So these are like mini gel pens in different colors. If you can't find them, try looking online. I've heard a few people have had luck buying online. Originally, I used to get them like this, called Paper Scissors Rock brand from the Warehouse store here in New Zealand, and then they discontinued them. So I bought up all I could before they were gone. This was a couple of years ago. They discontinued, and as you can see, some of the inks are drying up. That might be why they stopped doing them, but that brand I can't find anymore. So I looked around everywhere. Usually you can find the normal size, full size gel pens, or, you know, normal size pens, but you can't find the mini ones. And I really like them with the clip, so it doesn't slide out. You could just put a pencil or something else in there if you want. So at Kmart just recently, when I couldn't find those, I then found these packs. So these are like gift packs for 6. They're like party packs. Well, it says stationery pack. So this is from Kmart in New Zealand, and you get 6 notebooks, pencils, rubbers, or erasers if you're in the US, and 6 mini pens. So what I've done with my markets is I package up these items here and usually put some lollies in and sell that as a pack, and then hold on to the pens for doing my notebooks. I just found this weekend when I went to Kmart, they have this pack. They're scent mini pens, and there's 12 of them. I think this pack was $5.50, and this pack was 6 different things was $6.50 at Kmart. The difference with this here, though, because I already unpackaged them, is they've got pictures on them. It says woof and meow, and some have cats and some have dogs, and they're actually slightly larger than the original ones. So I'll see when I do this whether these fit this pack or not. They may be slightly longer, but that should be fine. Okay, so let's get started. So this isn't my original idea. I saw this idea, I don't know, 6 years ago or more from a video online, and took the idea to do make things for craft markets. So with this one, you can make 3 out of an A4 sheet of paper. If you have, you know, a 12 by 12 inch paper, you might be able to get more out of that. So this one is Calypso Coral. And so I'm going to show you how to cut it and make it. So with your A4 sheet, you're going to do, cut it. I'm sorry, the measurements I have are in inches because the video I originally watched and wrote my notes was inches. So I'll get my trimmer out. And the one thing, though, with the trimmer, with the Stampin' Up! Trimmers, is we do have metric. So we have imperial, inches, or metric numbers at the top. So anything I mention, you can look to, above to find the metric number. And I'll try to convert that as we go. So you want them to be 7 3/8 inch by 3 1/4 inch. So because I can get 3 out of here, I'm going to do the 7 3/8 inch along the short side, and then I'm going to cut 3 out the other way. So 7, and we got 1, 2, 3 eighths. So that looks like that's roughly 18.7 centimeters if you're going that way, okay? So 7 and 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to cut that. Normally I have things cut up beforehand. I'm a bit worried that I'm going to mess it up. And then you want each one to be 3 1/4 inches. So 3 1/4 inches is about 8.25 roughly. So between the 2 and the 3, 8.2 to 8.3. But if you've got a Stampin' Up! Trimmer, you've got your inches on there anyway. So 3 1/4 inches. So that's what we need to make one. So I'm just gonna I'll just go ahead and cut the rest of them now anyway, because I do have a Twilight Craft Market tomorrow, which will be long over by the time you watch this video. But so I'm doing the video a bit early, so I will have some product for my market. Okay, so if you are doing multiples, I suggest you leave them together before you cut them apart, so you only have to score them the one time. But I just want to show you one at a time. So then you want to turn it. So this is 7 3/8, which we've determined is 18.7 centimeters, and that's 3 1/4 inches, which is 8.2-ish centimeters. So with the long way, then you want to score it at 3 1/8, which is 7.9 centimeters. So using your scoring end, I've put mine up the top so I don't forget it. Plus, it's getting worn out and falls out the bottom. So 3 1/8, score that, and then you're going to slide it over to 3 1/2, which looks to be 18.9 centimeters. So up to 3 1/2. And then 3 7/8, which looks to be 9, 1, 2, 3. So that looks to be about 9.85, roughly, just past the 9.8 mark. So that's 3 7/8 inches. So that's about 9.8 centimeters. So you end up with 3 score lines there, okay? So I'm just going to quickly do the other ones so I can do them all. So 3 1/8 inches, 3 1/2 inches, and 3 7/8 inches. Now, just to show you, in case some of you aren't very good with, or not aware of this. So you see there's the main inch number, and then the next one between them that's long is the 1/2 inch. So this is actually broken into 16ths. So the first line is 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16, etc. So 2 lines over is 1/8, and then that one's 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. So when you're measuring, that's what you're looking for. So 7/8, 3 7/8 is the slightly larger line just past the 4. Hopefully you can see that. And what I do sometimes is I know the middle is 4/8, so then I count over from there. So that's how you can work out your numbers. I know back when I was at school doing math, none of this made any sense to me. And now that I craft, I have to use my math quite often. So with the 3, I'm going 2 lines over to 3 1/8, because the first line is 1/16, and then it's 1/8. Okay, and then I'm going to 3 1/2, and then 3 7/8. So I know a 1/2 is 4/8, so then count 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. There we go. All right, so those are all scored. Then what you want to do is you want to concertina fold it. So fold it in. And it doesn't matter which side you fold in. So either of those ends go inward. And then the one in the middle, so we've got those two going in, it's going to come back out. So I'll show you again. So you got your cardstock. So the first fold goes in. Then the second fold is going to go outward. And then the last fold is going to go in. So you're going to have like that little M shape. Or if you turn it over, you're going to have a W. Huh. We'll do M because I'm Michelle. So one more time. So it doesn't matter whether you got the long side or the short side. It's down and then up and then down. Okay. Now, it's slightly shorter, but you'll understand in a minute why it's not going to be totally even at that stage. So when you have it folded like that, make sure that you've got the smaller piece on the front and the longer piece in the back. Open it up, and I grip that little bit so you see it's open. So we got our short one here. It's not quite as long, and the long one there. And then get your snips. And you're going to take your snips. So again, we got the long and the short. And then we're just going to snip in from this fold up to the line. 2 snips. It doesn't really matter quite where you put them, you know, just part way down. If you want to be picky, you can get a ruler out and measure it. But you're going to do 2 snips, and that is going to create our little pen holder. Okay, see our pen holder there? So if you want it to be like perfectly set, you can measure it down if you want. But I make so many of these, I just do it really quickly. So again, so grabbing your paper, if we have it like this, it's going to, holding it this way is the easiest way to know which is the top part, because if you cut it the wrong way, it'll be on the bottom, but that's okay because you can refold it. So so if I turn this over and cut it here, so I accidentally have it the wrong way, I'll just show you how to fix it. So cut it that way. Don't follow this. This is just showing you one of the problems. Okay, and now this is on the bottom, not on the top. That's okay because you just fold everything the other way. Okay, so you just fold, turn it over and fold your lines the other way. Yep. And then it is now coming out. Okay, so now they look the same, even though originally I cut it the wrong way around. Hopefully I didn't confuse you. So the easiest way to do it is grab your folded part there, your little M, close it on, make sure you've got that short one, long one, and then snip it here. But if you snip it the wrong way, don't panic, just fold it the opposite direction. Okay, so just snip it in there. So yeah, roughly about that. So then what you want to do, now that that's snipped, this is going to be the front of our Post-it note thing. So that's going to be down, but you need that to pop out. So the easy thing to do is simply press it out, and it just comes out. There you go. So that's going to hold our pen, and I can just push it down there, just give it nice firm. I could get the bone folder out if I want, and that's going to give us our pen holder. If you don't snip it far enough up to the line, it doesn't pop out as much. Just go back and snip it a bit more. So that basically is the Post-it note packaging done. So pull it in, just push that one out. There we go. So we still have our short one on the front. So that one I did upside down. So to get the short one on the front, I go that way. How am I doing this? I'm confusing myself. Hold on. Okay, I confused myself because I was holding it upside down, and I thought, wait a minute, that's not right. But it is. So even being upside down, turn it over. I thought I told you a lie, but I didn't. I just had it upside down. Okay? So those are yours. That's how it's going to go. If you want left-handed ones, but do your slit the other way, but then that'll open the other direction. So there's 3 you can get out of one A4. Now I went ahead and I already prepared the items to decorate. You can decorate it however you want. Just be aware, if it's something that your people are going to store in their handbag, their purse, their backpack, in the car somewhere, you don't want a lot of stuff popped up. So like with this one, is nice and flat. Okay, I just did some simple stamping, had it flat. And with the other ones, I just have a few dimensionals holding up that little section, not a lot sticking out, because when you're putting it in a bag, you don't want things catching. So I've already got some I've prepared. I just haven't stuck the Post-it notes in them because I hadn't opened that pack yet. But that just shows using some DSP. So you just want it slightly smaller. And this is a roughly 3-inch square. So just slightly smaller for your DSP. And This was the is the now retired Gnome DSP. So I just had cut out a couple of the gnomes and stamped the little hearts. That stamp is the Conversation Bubbles, and there's dies that cut them out. So I just did some little heart bubbles there. Again, this is a retired Gnome paper, and the Gnome saying from that Gnome stamp. So you can have them simple. That is popped up, but not really high. I use one of the retired dog punches and stamps just to do a dog, again with that Conversation Bubbles. And another one. These background pieces were left over from another class I did where I used a die that cut out the 3 shapes, and I had them left over. So I never throw any leftover pieces away because you never know when you're going to need them. This one here, the background paper is, I think that's the host one from the current mini catalog. And I stamped directly on there with the cat, one of the cats from the Love Cats stamp set. I'm loving this one. It's in the current mini catalog. Just totally adore it. I actually have 2 black cats, so stamping the black cats. Doing this with the Stamparatus allows you to ink it multiple times, although I found with this designer series paper, the little squares were peeking through, so I took my black pen and I went over it again. And that's from the Conversation Bubbles. You get one of these that has no writing in it, but you have other words you can put in there, and there's a perfect one that says just a note. Perfect for this one. And so the ones I'm going to do 2 now with here, I've already gone and done a 3 by 3 inch square, which I think that's roughly 7.5 centimeters square. I stamped the cat with the Stamparatus with the Mento Black, and then I stamped the words in Calypso Coral and then some Poppy Parade hearts on there. So I'm just going to stick that one down there with a bit of glue. So you can glam them up however you want, but because I am selling them at a craft market, and if I add too much to them, I'm not making as much money, and it is time consuming. And you can't, a lot of the craft markets, you know, even though things are handmade, people still don't want to spend a lot of money. I might add some gems to this afterwards. So stick your embellishment at the top. Here's some of the retired designer series paper from that Gnome paper from last year's mini catalog. Might be able to get it in the clearance rack. I'm not sure if it's still around. And again, I just cut this. So it's not a perfect square there, but that's okay. So picked up the color from the mushrooms, and then there was a stamp and a die that cut the mushrooms out. The dies are still available at the moment because we have a new Gnome set, so you can still get the dies to cut the different pieces out, the gnomes and mushrooms and stems and things. And so I'm just going to pop this just slightly off center, and then a couple little dimensionals on the back of that, some mini dimensionals, just to pop that little guy up. And so I stamped the words from the Conversation Bubbles, the Just a Note, and I just fussy cut around it. So I just use my scissors and cut around it just to give me a little bit to stick up there. All right, so then you take your sticky notes. Now, the other thing is a lot of times you don't get a choice of what color sticky notes you can use. When I first started making these for markets, I pretty much could only find yellow, or the colors I could find didn't really go with any of the paper I had. So I got over the fact that it's not necessarily going to match the paper. It's kind of nice when it does, because especially when kids are purchasing, they like to have matchy-matchy, blue, blue, blue. But keep in mind, some of the pens, if it's the same color as the paper, when you write on the paper, it might not show up. So like a yellow pen with yellow paper isn't very good. It doesn't show up very well. So this one, I've got a few different pink pads and some purple pads and some blue ones, so that's pretty good. The green ones don't really go with these, but I can use them later. If you're not familiar with sticky note pads, the stickiness is in one direction, so when you stick it down, it's best if you stick it with the sticky part at the top. If you do it the wrong way, oh well, it just pulls off differently. Nobody's really going to complain. But they also have a blank paper on the back. It's a little bit of almost wax, slightly. So you stick it on the inside, and that's where the measurements, that's why you need these measurements for these size pads. If you're going to use different sticky note pads, you can get different measurements. So one thing I forgot to do here is just glue down just the long bits, not the little bit that you snipped out. And you could use some tear and tape, which happens to be the perfect size here. But in New Zealand, I don't know if you come from an area that's quite humid, but during the summer, which is just finishing, it gets very humid, and I find that the tear and tape loses its stickiness. So I tend to use the glue more than tear and tape. So that's where you want to just give it a bit of a rub, and you can even close it down. Just remember, do not put adhesive on that little bit there, just on either side. All right. And then I'll get this one. I don't think I've done any of them, so I might just do them off camera, and then I can put them all together. So you can even push it down that way too. So just on 1/2. You don't want the top to stick down. So it's only sticking that 1/2 together. Okay. And then you just stick your pad down. So again, you could use tear and tape if you want, or just because we're on video to make it quick and easy. Nice thing with this is if people use it up and run out of Post-it notes, they can get another pack of Post-it notes and stick it back in and keep using it. Make sure that you're doing it the right way up. So the pen is on the left, and also using the liquid glue, you can line it up. So I like to line it up where there's a bit of edge on 3 sides, but this side is pushed straight over there, straight to this edge there. And my cardstock's a bit frayed. My blades are getting old on my trimmer. And so to press it down, sometimes it's easier to go from the back. And so that's going to hold it in. And the other thing, as I said, check which way you're pulling it up. If you do it the wrong way, well, no big deal. Nobody's really going to complain. So let's have a look at our pens. Let's try out these new pens that are scented. And I did smell them, and they are scented. See, I think that's a dog. Yeah, that's fine. Slightly larger than my old ones. That'll work better with the dog and the cat ones. So here, let's put a cat one together and see if we can get a cat. So we'll put this together and stick the cat in there. And just butt it up against that side there, and then just make sure you got edges around. That's why I think the Tombow liquid glue is better, because you can give it some wiggle room there. And let's see, do we have pink ones look like they're dogs. I don't know if you can see. So that looks like a white cat. Come on, focus. There we go. Looks like a kitty cat with some bones. It says woof meow. Very strange. That one's a cat. It's a cat. 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 Huh. The only one that looks like a dog to me is the pink one. Interesting. I'm going to glue these together and come back on camera and show you all the finished products. Okay, so there you go. All done. So I've done these ones. I can still do one more. I just don't have decoration. So just when you choose them, either choose your paper to match up the designer series paper, something that you pick up in there, or maybe even just to match the post-it note inside. So this one is, that's Calypso Coral. This one, I can't think of the name of the color there. And then this one is Balmy Blue. So it's nice how the paper actually almost matches it perfectly. And this one is Fresh Freesia, one of the in colors. And look, that color almost matches it perfectly as well. Really in with the colors. So this one, I ended up taking one of the pens that has cats. That's the purple that matches it. And as you can see, those pens are slightly longer, but it still works fine. Especially if it has a hook on the pen, because then it doesn't fall through. And that's why when you're cutting this section out, you just need to be aware where you put it. I could have it way down there, but it wouldn't be as tight because the clip wouldn't hook into it. So I did it towards the top so I can hook the clip in. So those are the Post-it note holders. Hopefully you liked watching how to make those. Some of them have retired products and some of them do have new products, like the cats and some of the designer series paper. So please give me a thumbs up if you like that. Have a look at the other videos, so click on the links in the description below, and you can get over to other videos to see some other things that are anything but a card. And get out all your paper and your little embellishments, because it's only a small section that gets covered up on there, so you don't need a lot. And essentially it's almost like doing a card front, but in a useful product. And it's a great gift to give people. So, you know, with Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Easter, all those things coming up, you can make some specialized gifts for your friends and family. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.